Hey everyone, it's John, and today what I want to do is do a video on network automation and how network automation can help you speed up and more efficiently troubleshoot your network. So recently I've upgraded to EVE-NG Pro and it is so good. And because of that I've got access to Docker and whatnot, and I've been playing about with that quite a bit. And because of that, they've got Napalm and Ansible installed, and I thought, do you know what, how about I make a video on Ansible again? So here we are. Um, so what I will do is I'll preface, like always, is that I don't consider myself to be an expert on programming or network automation. I'm strictly a novice, but I'm trying to share whatever I do know with you. So if you see something in here which you think is wrong, by all means let me know, put a comment in, and I'll be happy to correct it. Likewise, what I'm going to do is these playbooks I'm going to put up in my GitHub. You'll be able to find the link in my description if you want to use these playbooks, and they're free for you to use and to improve as you see fit. So that's the general preface out the road. So what are we going to do today? So effectively, I thought with network automation, a lot of people have got the idea that it's great for quick configs and kind of repetitive tasks, and it absolutely is. That's a huge, huge thing. But what it can also do is programs and computers can compare much better than the human eye can, and we're going to leverage that to help us do some troubleshooting. So what I've done here is I've first created this little playbook, and it's just called the Snapshotter basically. So what is the Snapshotter? Well, to give you some context, the Snapshotter, I would implement this. So let's say you come into your work first thing and you do your basic kind of health checks on the network to make sure everything's stable and working fine, and you're satisfied that your tests have came back fine. At this point, it would be a good idea to snapshot the network in a healthy state so you've got something to compare it with, okay? And this is what this little playbook does. So let me just quickly talk you through it. The first thing we use is play 1, which is enumerating the local date and time. So Ansible will use a special variable, this one here, and Ansible understands this to actually grab the date and time from your Linux machine, and we're going to save it as this variable called TD, which is for time date. Let's use that for. Okay. Now the second part, rather third part here, is we're going to create a subfolder. Now the subfolder, it's going to be in the root directory, which is this part here. We're going to append a subfolder called calendar, and in that we're going to use this Ansible variable appended with our TD, which is our time and date, and we're going to make that a directory. Okay, so that basically what it's going to do is it's going to go in the root directory, write calendar, make a folder in that just with the time and the date. That's what this part of the code is doing. Run once true means that it will only run once. Ansible will detect that if I happen to run this playbook and it creates the folder and then I rerun it 10 minutes later, Ansible's smart enough to know that, hey, the folder is already created. If it's run once, we don't need to do it again, so don't recreate the folder. If you see it, Ansible, just leave it. As long as it's now created, that's fine. So that's what run once true is doing. The next part is play 2. This is we're going to capture the screenshot of the working configurations, okay? So we're targeting all the hosts. We're going to use the network CLI connection method, and what we're going to do is retrieve the running configurations. So we're going to use the Ansible module, the iOS command, and the command we're going to use is just simply show run. In the output of that show run, we're going to save it under the variable response. So we can call the information just by the keyword response. That's what register does, and we can call that we can call that IPvZero or whatever, but I'm just going to call it response, okay? Now, we then move on to play job 2 of play 2. We're going to create a second folder within that called the snapshot folder. Again, the path it's going to take is the root directory with calendar, with the time and the date, with a new folder called snapshots. Once again, it's going to be a directory. And again, run once true means that if I keep running this continually throughout the day, Ansible will see that, hey, this has already been created once, that's good enough, don't recreate it. That's what that's doing, okay? And the last part is job 3 of play 2. We're going to take all the standard output, which is basically all the text which is in the show run command, and we're going to, this is what it is here, std out, this 0, because it's basically one big block, and it's the first block we're taking. Now remember, in programming, number 1, the first one is really 0, so we're pretty much saying take all that block. And where do we want to put it? All that stuff, we want to copy it using the copy module, and the destination we're going to put it to is the calendar remember, host vars local with TD, it's going to be the date effectively, with the new snapshots. And again, we've got this special variable which Ansible understands called inventory host names. All it's going to do is Ansible is just going to say whatever inventory host name I'm running this on. So if this is running on switch SW5 for switch 5, it's going to take SW5 and put it in there and append it to running config text. So in the end, it's going to have a folder called calendar, within that a time and a date, within that a folder called snapshots, and within that the host name of whatever device you're running it on appended to running config.txt. So that's the first one called snapshot. Okay. The one after that is called the debugger. Okay. Very, very, very similar. All it's going to do is effectively do the same thing. Okay. But it's going to create a folder called comparison. So we're going to actually have two outputs. We're going to have an output within a snapshot folder, which is a healthy one, and we're going to pipe in when we have problems into a folder called comparison. Then we're going to use some Linux techniques to compare the two and see where the discrepancies are. Okay, so that's the rough overview of what it's going to do. So let's go back and see this. So I don't know if I said this actually, I'll just quickly restate in case I didn't. The big crazy configuration here is my out-of-band management. It's basically out of production, so it's all VRF'd and all in separate VLANs, just in case you're wondering. I can't remember if I said that or not. So that's what that is. Now, let's go and have a look at our basic Ansible configuration. Now, what I will say is before I start actually, is that Ansible actually does have modules to do similar things in this, okay? So if you go to here, within the iOS config module, we've got other parameters, and the parameters in similar would be diff against, and you can use these parameters too. Okay, but the way I've done it is slightly different. Again, I'm just trying to be a bit more experimental and do my own little things and stuff like that to help me learn, and I quite like the way the output has came out for myself. So, but just know you can do it this way as well, and it probably is a better way in fairness, but this is the way I'm doing it in the video, okay? So now, let's go on to our Ansible Docker within evng. And I've created some files, so... Okay. Now, important, Ansible understands this naturally. See this thing called group vars? It will look for this automatically. So if I do cat group vars, within that, or rather cd group vars, and within the all.yaml, if I cat that, what I've done here is I've actually put in the Ansible Network OS, which is iOS, the user John, and the passwords. You'll notice my my playbooks, I don't have to specify which that I'm using iOS, or that I'm piping in a username and a password. It's all been pre-configured in this group var. That's natural to Ansible, so it understands it automatically. The other thing which I've got is my Ansible CFG, and it looks like that. Basically, gathering facts is explicit because we're on networking devices, we're not going to be gathering facts. Our inventory is in the hosts, which is this here. We'll look at that in a wee second. Retry files enabled, false, so in case we get any kind of fails, you don't want to be retrying it. Host key checking, which is false as well for the SSH. And because I'm using an older version, I'm getting warnings for deprecations. I've just put that to false to keep it cleaner for the video. So the last thing which I want to show you is the host file, which is referenced here, and it's the same as before. If you've watched my other Ansible videos, I've grouped them by function. All group encompasses all the devices. The routers encompasses the two routers, the core access, and I've also created my own little DNS by getting into here. So if I ping R2, or rather R3, sorry, it's going to look up R3 and know to ping 172.29.129.3. Okay, doc. So that's pretty much the general configurations. Okay, so let's just go to a device and we'll just put in some configurations. What I will say, I haven't really properly configured this network. It's just all getting managed out of band right now. It could be fully configured, but for time I've just kind of thrown it together quite quickly. So let's just put some stuff on it just now, okay? So this is on a switch, okay? So what interfaces do we have? We'll do show IP int brief. Okay, so let's just pretend that we're in int gig 23, and we'll do switch port trunk encapsulation.1q, and let's pretend this is a trunk link, okay? trunk, and we'll do switch port trunk allowed VLAN. In fact, you know, I better create some VLANs first. So VLAN 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35. Oh, did 25 twice there. Okay, so show VLAN brief. So we've created some VLANs here, okay? So let's go back onto that link again. We'll do int gig 2, what was it, 23, wasn't it? And we'll do switch port trunk allowed VLAN 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35. Okay, so that's the configuration on it. There could be other stuff on it as well. We could have, like, say, I don't know, router EIGRP 1. Okay, just leave it at that. So a bunch of configurations on it. The network's working fine. So as the senior network engineer, you go into your desk and you decide, you know what, I've done all my checks. I'm now quite happy to... Oh. What's up with this? Caps lock seems to be stuck on for some reason. There we go. That was really odd, that. Okay. There we go. I don't know why that was sticking for a second there. Must be a sticky key. Anyway, so you're the network engineer. You've done your kind of health checks, and now you want to say, do you know what? Let's take a screenshot, a snapshot rather, of the network as it stands, okay? So like you can see here, we don't have any folder called calendar. That will be created. So we'll do Ansible playbook, and we're going to do the snapshot, okay? So boom, hit this. It's grabbing the time and the date, creating the folder calendar. It's grabbing the, well, it's receiving the running configurations for all devices right now. And again, if the network was much, much bigger than this becomes even more powerful, obviously. The smaller the network, it doesn't really have quite a big effect. The larger the network, its effect grows exponentially. So now we're retrieving the running configs. We've created a snapshot folder, and we're going to pipe all the output to that subfolder. So that's us done there, okay? And you'll see we've now got a folder called calendar, and if we go in, we've now got the date, okay? So we can go into that, and we've now gone to snapshots. So we can see a healthy switch 7 looked like this, whatever, okay, and we've got the whole thing here. Blah, 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 okay. So what I want to do right after that is just immediately after, just run the debugger just for good measure, okay, because it will help keep the comparisons the same, so when there is a difference, it will be able to tell a difference straight off the bat. Okay, so Ansible playbook, because the first thing you run the debugger, of course, is going to show a difference. It's going to show changes. So let's run Ansible playbook debugger, and it's doing very similar things. It's capturing the configurations for comparison, grabbing the running configurations. It's going to do the same thing, but create a comparison subfolder within that same date. So it's now making... So now we have all these changes right here, okay, because that's the first time it's run. So now if we run it again, run it, it should have no changes, okay. Okay, so no changes, okay, because it's obviously just the same now. So what switch did we put that on? I can't even remember. Okay, so switch 8. So now the scenario is you're out of the office and whatnot, and the junior admin or your one of the fellow engineers in your team goes into the router, and they report back that somehow they're getting issues with network traffic. So they go into the same. They don't know they've done this. Obviously, they've been messing around. So we'll do int gig 23. And if you're an engineer, you'll probably realise this is a common one. Switch port trunk. You know what? Let's add a VLAN. I'm going to add VLAN 60. Okay. So the junior goes in and goes int gig 23, and he wants to add VLAN 60 to the list of allowed VLANs. You probably know where this is going. So what he does is he does switch port trunk allowed VLAN, and he does, what was it, 50 I created, was it, I think? Or 60, I can't even remember. Oh, it was 60 rather, it should be 60. Okay, so he puts that in, and he reports that there's issues with people all over the place are saying they can't get traffic, all these different departments and whatnot, because effectively he's wiped the VLAN. He's only just got VLAN. If we have a look at it just here. So he's only got VLAN 60 allowed rather than allowing all the previous VLANs plus 60. It should have done allowed VLAN or allowed add VLAN. Okay, so if you've got, say, 80 devices, 100 devices, it's hard to pinpoint straight away where's the problem. Where is the problem and what is the problem? But all you need to do in this case is just run Debugger again, okay? And what Debugger is going to do is going to grab all your devices and run comparisons between everything from when it was healthy. So let's see what Debugger brings us back now. And again, try to imagine this was many, many more devices and how helpful this could be. Okay, so Debugger tells us straight away there's a change in switch 8. So let's look at that then, okay? So we go into CD, that's going to your calendar. Like I say, we're in 2019. And what we can do, we've got a comparison list and a snapshot. Now, if you wanted, you could just go straight in and compare switch 8 exactly. But because it's just one, I'm just going to just do diff and do tell me the difference effectively. That's what this command is doing. Tell me the difference between what's in snapshots and what's in comparisons. That's the basic Linux logic here. And what it's doing, it's telling me right there. It's switch 8, obviously. And what we've got is that one's get this. That was a healthy one. Had all these. And the new ones only get that. So instantly, I know to go to switch 8. And the problem is with the trunks on the VLANs, okay? So that's one example. So let's do another. And like I say, I'll actually just I'll artificially manipulate the date, okay? So I'll do date set and we'll pretend it's a different day because I want to create a new folder, obviously. So let's say it's the 29th of October 2019, okay? So now we've changed the date. So what I'm going to do is, let's say, I don't know, we'll go on to the router and we'll have router EIGRP1, okay, blah de blah, whatever. Let's put auto summary on, okay? Or rather, no auto summary. Okay, so now we're checking everything in the day and we're going to just, everyone's fine, so what we do is take our snapshots, we'll do our snapshotter. And again, because this is a new date, it'll create a second subdirectory with the new date in it. And like I say, we'll just run the debugger after it as well. We could practice immediately after. Okay, so we do ls, go into our calendar. Oh. We'll see that we've now got 2 dates, okay? So we'll do CD 2019 and the 29th, okay? So that's us now get 2 more sets of comparison and snapshot. So we're going to CD comparison, we've got a list, we don't have anything there yet, and CD snapshots. Oh. Okay, so cat S6 and all that, okay? So like I say, we've got another problem here. We'll go into here and just say somebody's messing around with EIGRP and they happen to put in auto summary, okay? And we don't know what's going on with the network, but like I say, we don't need to worry about it too much, because if we just run debugger again, we should be able to find the problem. And like I say, these might seem frivolous, but it'll pick up different VRFs, access control lists, if they're on differently, if there's been changes there, whatever, a million things, interface configurations, something different, any kind of changes, the debugger should pick it up. So you can locate the device you need to go onto and what is likely the problem with the device. Now I say this is not absolutely foolproof, but it is a little kind of tool that you can use to help you out. Okay, so we see we've got a change in router 3, debugger's picked it up, so we know router 3, okay? So we're going to calendar, and let's say we're pretending it's the day of. And what we're going to do is we'll do diff. We'll just show you the ls. We can do the same thing again. Do diff between. See, like I say, you could do it this way. You could do comparison, and you could do R3 with snapshots. R3 if you want to compare the two of them directly, because you know it's on R3. But if you just want to be quick, you can just do it the way I did it the first time. So we can see straight away there's an issue here. Auto summary's been put on. So we know on router 3, debugger is isolated router 3, and it says there's an issue with auto summary. So all we do is go up to here and go, okay, router 3. That's why we're getting issued the network, no auto summary, and it's all fine. Okay, doke. So I think that's going to be the end of the video. I want to keep this one kind of short and sharp. I'm going to do more on Ansible because I'm playing about it more, thanks, because I'm really enjoying this kind of Docker stuff on IPvZero Pro. So expect more soon, and that's the end of the video. Like I say, check out GitHub if you want these playbooks, and you can have them, do what you want with them. Okay, doke. So thanks very much, and I'll see you guys soon. Bye bye.